Alright everybody, here we are in our first best of 3 in the Frank and Algo Stormgate tournament, Cluck of the Irish. This one's going to be played out between our Vanguard player here in the blue, this is LaFaf, and his opponent playing the Infernal faction representing the red color, this is Elf. And we're playing here on Broken Crown, my favorite map, and wow, there's already aggression out here. The scout from LaFaf has come to try and harass. This is very interesting building placement. We've got Elf placed her vault over here by the trees. And then we've got a meat farm. Looks like that might be helpful. This is a really nice positioning, actually. Not only could it be helpful with the Shadow Mastiffs, it can also be it's good defense of this ramp here eventually, should that come into play. But so far the scout is actually being pretty annoying and is actually going to block the imp for a second as well, but then runs away. Has already eaten this cabbage, or maybe the Hexen had gone out to take that. We got double brutes now coming out from Elf, and indeed she's going to use her Fellhog to do some tanking here. And some of those Mastiffs got targeted on the scout. So that's just very lucky for her and her creeping. But the scout, and now a Lancer's going to come by. And I like that she's going for the scout instead. And the Lancer's actually well micro to get on the Hexen. And that means the Fiend is chasing the scout away. But the scout did make it to the cabbage in time. Very fun play around the creeps here to start this game. And LaFaf being very aggressive to bring his Lancer all the way across the map to fight against those Shadow Mastiffs. And now it's Elf's turn to turn on and try and jack this camp. And LaFaf is going to let her do that as he's going for his own health camp over here. This is just more standard creeping. One cool thing about this play for Elf is she's now got double speed boosts, so look at how fast these brutes are jogging. They're out for a jog, and she's decided, let's jog right on in. Let's send 4 brutes right onto your command post here. There are some bobs. There's a hedgehog out, and wow, okay, she's gonna split off 6 of those brutes, or 3 brutes into fiends. They've made it up into the main, but the hedgehog's actually getting healed on. There's a couple brutes that remain. One brute is trying to take out some bobs. Couple brutes that arrive. We got one Lancer going down. Did the hedgehog die? No. The fiends come down from the high ground and get the 2 Lancers, and then tries to get on top. But this is not going to do more damage than it has already got done. It's not super clear. It's not super clear how. What kind of damage she got. She got a few bob kills for sure. And a lot of Lancers and such went down as well. But wow, very aggressive game from both of these so far. And Elf's gone back to doing some creeping. She's got some Gaunts out now, another Conclave on the way. And a Ritual Chamber almost finished. This space has not yet been taken, and we see LaFaf coming forward with 2 hedgehogs and a Lancer. It's not a really big force. There are some Fellhogs here, and while they do a little damage now, this meat farm's gonna get picked off unless Elf comes back. And here comes her Gaunt. Yeah, the meat farm will go down before that. And we now have, what's this, a forward Rax out for LaFaf. And finally a Biokinetics lab also going down. There are a good number of Gaunts there. And pushing that Shroud out. Plague Axe is done yet. They're halfway done. So this is a good advantageous time for LaFaf to engage. Elf did catch 2 of those hedgehogs with her Nightfall Infestation. And fighting around this choke point here was more than LaFaf wanted to get into and decided to pull back. And now we see a couple of fiends from Elf moving out to steal camps. We got another Rax on the way. We're about half saturated in the natural here. Fully saturated with 6 on Therium. Whereas we're, yeah, full saturated with a Greater Shrine. And only 5 here. So not quite as much. And now the Fiends are into the base. These look like Scout Fiends more than trying to get anything done. But she did split a couple off. And might get a Bob kill for it. Not quite. It's a low Bob. The Bob split off to build a scrapyard. Interesting. Said, I'm just working here. I don't mind if a Fiend's trying to eat me. Now we got the Vision Camp being taken out here. And LaFaf's added, what's this, a couple Exos, another Hedgehog. And the Exos have been pretty popular in recent patches. And wow, there's a cool little graphics effect with one of the rockets there. And Elf's trying to engage here, staying on top of the Shroud, of course, is wise. And then pulling back when her Brutes get low, or are lost, I should say. Gaunt's trying to make it back to the base, trying to get back to some Shroud. Another FG gets popped. Nightfall catches one of the Lancers. The other Lancer goes down. And a couple of Fiends chasing Exos down. Little stutter step to try and get them. But Exos are going to be caught now by the Gaunts. Looks like Reaper's Rush is finished. So the Gaunts are speedy. And of course Hedgehogs are one of the fastest units in the game. And they're able to scoot away. And you know what's not one of the fastest units in the game? The Hellborn. She's got extra legs. You think she could walk a little quicker. But nope, just the old Spider Queen in the back there. We got a flat cannon here that's being mass repaired, and the Gaunts are trying to get on it. But Exos come out to get on top of the Hellborn. That's not something you want to lose. It's a really good pickoff from LaFaf, but almost all the Exos pay the price there. Shields up on one of the Hedgehogs, and that's going to actually keep it alive for a while. But Elf wisely maneuvers away from it, lets that shield wear off, and tries to take out a medtech that is surprisingly tanky. So like, let me chase that tech down. I need to get that kill. Let me verify that kill, and boom, more Exos going down. We got some Bobs deciding to turn and fight, and this is Hedgehogs on both sides, but it looks like some Gaunt reinforcements here to actually come in and help out the Hedgehogs in the back. One Brute coming in to punch as well with his big old cleaver. Not going to be quite enough to get these Hedgehogs because the mass repair. Another Brute says, fine, I'll finish the job, and takes out the Hedgehogs. Meanwhile, Gaunts are just in the main base trying to wreak havoc, and that's going to be GG from LaFaf in the first game. Okay, we're back at it. We're going to be in game number 2 here. This is going to be another match between Elf here in the blue Infernal. Already with a Vault out here. And we've got LaFaf in the red Vanguard. Hoping to scrape by with a win here to force the final match in this best of 3. Scouting out Elf's base and seeing there are 2 production structures, and it didn't look like any imps were on their way out to do anything else. So this looks like could be an aggressive opening, and nonetheless LaFaf is on command post first, and right out the beginning here, this could be problematic, as the Hexen of Elf is about to show up, and she's either going to teleport home with the news, or she might just sit here and try and pick off. Yeah, there she goes. She's going to teleport home, say, hey, wait a sec, everybody. LaFaf went command post first. So how does she answer with that? She does have an imp coming out here, so she is definitely going to expand. I think a 1 base all-in is a pretty bad build these days with the faster eco. So almost all, even an aggressive build. Oh, there's a farm down here I didn't notice as well. So even aggressive builds, usually you're on 2 base. It's more of a 2 base all-in than a 1 base. But for now, she's going to go for the health camp, which makes sense. Even if you're going to push early, you might want to grab your health camp. We have the Scout of LaFaf trying to get in on the action, but now there's 2 Fiends on top of it. And that's just enough to chase it away. And will it be able to find a cabbage before it gets eaten? One of the fiends is derping away and gets lost. The other one stays on target, but it looks like this pup's probably going to eat the cabbage in time. And the fiend stays on chase. There is one lancer out already. And a little kind of mini wall going on down here. Did the fiend pull back? Yes, okay. So it wasn't chopped down by the lancer. And this brute going to go sit in the healing bath for a second. While another brute comes out to do the tanking job. And there are 3 fiends, of course, really good on the DPS there. Yes, just taking a little bath. And this brute's like, where's my cabbage? It's already eaten by that wily coyote, or whatever it is. It's pup. And so Elf takes her vision tower. Still just one lancer hanging out back here. We do have probably a hedgehog here coming out. No sentry post. That's very brave. Fiend's going back for some healing baths as well. And it's a ritual chamber quickly, and we have plague axes about a third of the way done. And interesting here that we only see the 2 gaunts here. This is a fun sort of creeping play here where the fiends have been relied on for the DPS. The brute does the tanking, and then there's a couple gaunts there just to add. And once the plague axes are done, of course, what they'll add is some infest. But I think the reason why there was only 2 gaunts out there is so that additional therium, there's 2 more that's been produced, but additional therium can be put into building the ritual chamber and getting those upgrades. We already see Reaper's Rush on the way. Now LaFaf is got a little window here before Reaper's Rush to maybe do some damage. Lancers, of course, pretty good against gaunts. Hedgehogs are pretty good against everything since they're good at kiting. And here we see a little skirmish. The hedgehogs trying to pick off those brutes if they can. Of course, once the fiends have got on top of them, they don't want that. That's what the lancers are there for. They chew through the fiends. We see the fiends get all taken out there. The gaunts now are in retreat, but now it's their time to stutter step. There's a few low lancers here, and if Elf can... Oh, the Hexen unfortunately gets taken out, but more reinforcement gaunts show up. Another nice place effigy ensures that there's going to be infests and fiends popping out. And a really well-targeted Nightfall infestation captures 2 of those hedgehogs. They're just speedy enough, even with the slow effect, that they can get away. But this was... once again, it kind of was looking a little bit scary for Elf, and then all of a sudden, 6 or 8 more gaunts show up, and boom, that turns the tides. These hedgehogs, I don't know if they wanted... Yeah, they get caught there. Nice, well-placed promote there keeps that one alive, or at least keeps it at a healthy position. Elf's hoping to fight there, but wisely LaFaf pulls back. Oh, there's a Vulcan out here. This is starting to look a little dangerous now as a defensive force. If Elf pushes in with just these gaunts, and well, there are a few brutes now added. Those Vulcans, no matter what you bring, if it's tier 1, Vulcans kind of chew it up. So, single gaunt there, that's the bravest gaunt. For a second there, I thought that Elf might be choosing to... Oh, maybe she's going for a flank? I'm not sure. She has split her units up. She's got 5 gaunts down here. And I guess they got sniffed out by LaFaf, and they're getting chased down. Nice jump jets on top of one of those. Make sure it stuns. The other one's trying to get away. This one lone gaunt gets to go home and tell the tale. Say, yes, we went on a strike force, but it was a suicide mission. And again, very aggressive with the FD placement, but LaFaf has had a good micro, or at least some of the units have been targeting on that effigy to take it out. We see Weavers added here. This is a good answer to the Vulcan tech that's now marching across the map. The rest of these units aren't great against the Vulcans. There we go. Lash on one of the Vulcans, but that's where the shield goes up. And Elf is much smarter than me. I just sit there and focus fire the shielded up unit and then lose my army. But she says, no, I'm going to pull back. That spell only lasts like 10 seconds or something. So if you pull back, here comes a Magmadon, actually pretty good against these. Oh, a secret Magmadon. Really, double jump jets out of LaFaf. This is well done to neutralize, in fact, triple jump jets to take out the trample effect from the Magmadons and completely neutralize that additional DPS. And now it is more of a concave that Elf is hoping for to take out these units. Few of her Gaunts are chasing down the Hedgehogs, while the rest are just hoping to kill these, kill this Vulcan. This Vulcan is going for the Shroud Stone, actually. And good micro from Elf to pull her units out, and they go down. And it looks like the rest of her... Wow. Who knew that with good control, you could actually beat a bunch of Vulcans with Gaunts and Brutes? I certainly can't. I just sort of click on the Vulcan and then watch my units disappear, so... Alright, so after all that battling there, Elf decides, let's get the health camp retaken. Same thing's going on for LaFaf here. Another Vulcan's out, more Exos. These Hedgehogs, of course, need these healing juices as they're very low. Sentry post here. We're on a 4th base coming up here. Same thing for Elf. So the economy timing is fairly similar. How are we doing? Oh, we've got some Soulforge Ascendants going down. Nothing right now coming out of the Ritual Chamber, but that might be because she's done with what she needs. She might not be looking for any Hexen upgrades. And we are returning back to sort of a build up and creep phase where you want to regain those benefits that you had in those earlier battles and at the same time get your supply back up. It's also really interesting to see that these two players have very similar supply, equal supplies, in fact, as I call it this moment. And that means they're going toe-to-toe right now in terms of eco, in terms of building, keeping on their macro, and also in terms of those earlier battles. No one was throwing the game by losing all their units for nothing. Couple of scout fiends were able to scout out these two bases for LaFaf, and now Elf looks like, yeah, she's going to smash down the back doors with her Hellborn. Look how much quicker they are now with those fires. I do like that. Certainly going to make them a little more, and immediately drops an effigy and is trying to get the fiends to pop out, and boom, they are, and they're going to get on top of the sentry post. Magmadon's trying to catch some of the bobs as they're walking away, but now it's just free reign on these units. We see the army of LaFaf coming, but it's too late. Bye-bye command post. All that's left here is a scrapyard and a few mining bobs, and Magmadons are making quick work of those. Some Exos get caught in the tramples, and the tramples going all the way out into the Vanguard army, and very nice jump jets now finally neutralizing those Magmadons, just like we saw earlier. LaFaf is using those Vulcans to stun them and stop them in their tracks. Hellborn, though, in the back, raining down with a very nice concave, as well as the Gaunts also in a very nice concave, and this is what you like to see. I love how Elf is moving her Gaunts around to get them into a better concave position. The shield up. Hedgehog is a hero right now, but the shields are down, and actually the Gaunts have been cleaned up. A few Vulcans remain. They are pretty low. Can the Hellborn take them out? One remains. There's still a few Hedgehog. Oh, please take the last shot on the Vulcan. It needs to die. Boom, and a couple Hedgehogs go down with it in the splash damage. And now reinforcements for Elf have arrived. We've got Brutes on top of this. We see that survival protocol on the Exos, keeping them alive a few extra seconds, but that's not long enough as they are in full retreat. But here we go. Some reinforcements show up in this battle in the center. The map keeps going back and forth. We got Meg showing up as well. Now LaFaf, who wants to retreat, gets caught in a Nightfall infestation, but wisely pulls back the low Exos. There's just a lot of splash damage coming out of this army for Elf now. The Hedgehogs are able to, the Hellborn rather, are able to do a lot of damage from afar on these Exos. The Exos all clump up because they're so small. This one Exo got the rough job of saying, why don't you go clean up all the effigies that are out there? Yeah, what about the army that's out there? Yeah, don't worry about that. You just clean it up. Oh, wait a second. Elf obviously sees this as Shroud Stones are going down. And this base is also going to go back up. I think Elf, yeah, has decided, okay, if you're going for this crazy equal play where you're going to try and take all these extra bases, I better be on my bases too. Here go. Some Bobs go down. But Elf has turned to fight because the army of LaFaf has come to the defenses. A few Hellborn here out of position. Elf is marking them back as the rest of her Hellborn are coming to join her army and destroying this base. There are Shroud Stones here. One of the Hellborn, it looks like, might have got taken out. Maybe both of them. But the splitting of the army means that this army has been taking damage from Elf. Another nice jump jet to neutralize that Magmadon, and it's now a flank. There's no escaping for LaFaf here other than through. We see that these rear forces here are pulling back a bit as LaFaf is trying to push them away. And we still... What is going on? Bob's hiding in the woods. We still have a two-pronged attack here. Only one Vulcan remains with the Nanoswarm on. Doing pretty good. Now with the shields up. Every spell you can possibly cast to keep that boy alive, and he is staying alive once again, pulling back into a more defensive. This is a better position, but still, there's not enough units here. There's just a lot of Hellborn. Once those Nanoswarms run out, this Vulcan is going to be gone. Oh, one more volley and it is out. We're starting to see what has been a fairly equal game turn into Elf's favor as the bases of LaFaf continue to be taken out, and the supply is now in her favor. We're going to get a GG from LaFaf in game number 2.